For all type of video and audio transfers on DVDs or CDs, please contact Joe Borg on 0414 429 391. Good day, Maltese show. I'm Joe Borg and I'm going to be with you for another week, and I trust that you're going to enjoy the show. Sunday, we're going to have bingo at the Hamroom Club, 100 Jackson Street, Marsden Park. We're going to have free muffins, coffee or tea, and we have 15 games, and you win good prizes, which is money. So, all electronically, computerized. So when you come, enjoy playing the games and you win some money. Who knows? See you at 3:30. We're going to open the show with Charlie Muscat and SOFIE with the song, All You Ever Do Is Bring Me Down. Why Malta is so popular in 2025.
Then there's Dingley Cliffs, where the island seems to drop straight into the sea. Standing here at sunset, overlooking the vast Mediterranean, is an unforgettable experience. The next day, we visited Gozo. The way cars enter the ferries is very organized and effective, making the procedure very fast. Now we're gonna get on the ferry to Gozo.
How does it feel to drive from this side?
Yeah, okay. It was awkward in the first half an hour, but then we got used to it. A short ferry ride takes us to Malta's quieter sister island. After arriving, we set off to visit a few places, starting with Tuezra Inland Sea. From here you can plan a dive or jump into a boat that takes you through the tunnel to the outer side of the island, near the Blue Hole. We are on the other side of Tuezra Bay, exactly above the Blue Hole, and somewhere here was until 5-6 years ago the Blue Window. Not anymore. Next, we drove to Oued el-Gasri, a very beautiful cove to the north, reminiscent of Seitan Limani in Crete. Two minutes walking distance from Oued el-Gasri, you'll find the scenic spot GALEA. Walking around the area offers stunning views of the sea and the cliffs. Just a kilometer to the east are the impressive geometric patterns of the salt pans that run along a large part of the northern coast. Lastly, we visited what I think of as the highlight of Gozo, Victoria and the Citadella in Victoria. place that will make you feel like you are walking through a medieval castle and will give you a nice view over the whole island. A must-see on the island of Gozo. The next day after Gozo, we visited the fisherman's cave, named Gday Rig. Look for path Gday Rig on Google Maps, and then for this door with the letters RTO on it. From there you will follow the path to the entrance of the cave, which is also on Google Maps.
IL-KAZIN, the club. The topic about the drugs. With your host, MALLIA.
Drogi sintetiċi, perkolużi, oljin u li iva jagħmlu ħsara vera fil-komunità?
Mela, maġ, ħakolli nagħlaq il-KAZIN il-lejla, grazzi tal-li għaddejt saħdejja, l-aħħar sentenza tik il-kortezija, il-messaġġ tiegħek lil Bernard Grek.
X'inhi risposta tagħkom għal statement bħal dak, da supposta tiġi fuqkom u jgħid isma' kif għandi nifforma l-statement tiegħi qabel jien mmur infattar fernezija bħal dik. Fimt? Ma nies bħalkom iridu jitkellmu daw għax in-nies ħadu qata' x'insemgħuha. Ħatmu kontra il-kontroll u regolamenti u l-abbuż u traffikar.
Kien amatorjaliżmu politiku milli da. Ma ħsibx li essenzjalment kienet iqis x'qed jgħid u nasib ir-ramifikazzjonijiet u l-idiosinkrazzijiet kollha u dawn l-sfumatur kollha li sibt inti. Nasib l-ewwel darba li probabbli sema' lilek u qed jgħid jista' jkun hekk ta' naħseb.
John, jekk nista'. Però politikanti bħal dawn huma waħda mill-ikbar problema l għandna s-soċjetà għala. Għax hekk bħalma għedna l-ewwel aħna bniedmin responsabbli u l-influencers responsabbli tal-emin tagħhom. Politikanti responsabbli tal-ġol.
Għandna problema ħajkollok tgħinni biha. Ma il-problema hija li sfortunatament skorri lil-ħin u ħajkolli nagħlaq. Imma nixtieqek taqbad biex tal-konklużjoni tiegħek. U naħseb faċli temmiżha ma' dali kont se tgħid biex tara, u nistiedek kun l-ewwel wieħed biex tagħtina l-konklużjoni tal-lejla. Grazzi Maġġi.
Naħseb waħda mill-affarijiet li mhux qegħdin nagħmlu distinzjoni bejn l-affarijiet bħalma qed l-ewwel, droga hija droga, addiction hija addiction. Kriminalità hija kriminalità. Dawn huma tliet affarijiet kompletament differenti. Id-droga qatt ma kienet separata mis-soċjetà. Is-soċjetà dejjem kien hemm subculture ta' droga fija. U kien hemm ritwal marbut magħha. Dan min ipejjeb sigarett min irembel sigarett. X'aktarx iktar iħobb irembel sigarett milli jħobb ipejjeb sigarett. L-istess min iħobb jixrob iktar iħobb it-tazza f'idejh milli jħobb jixrob. Jiġifieri din hija sustanza il-barra minna li hemm ritwal marbut magħha. Ir-ritwal iġibna f'dak li kien qed jgħid Gianluca. Connection. Hemm connection. Fl-aħħar mill-aħħar dik il-connection aħna rridu nagħmluha ma' Alla l-univers se jaħlu li trid. Fl-AA jgħidu li addiction is a spiritual disease. U kif qegħdin naraw is-soċjetà iktar ma tmur, il-problema hija li iktar qed immorru l-bogħod minn Alla u minn li aħna Alla. Dik waħda mill-problemi nisibu fiha. Apparti affarijiet oħra bħal nutrition. Fej meta kont fl-80s il-cancer u ċertu tip ta' diseases kienu qegħdin jeħħitjaw nies fuq is-sebgħinijiet tagħhom. Illum il-ġurnata il-window qiegħda 25 il-fuq, jekk mhux inqas. Magħhom dawk mhux daw id-diseases biss niżlu, imma kwalunkwe disease li għandha s-soċjetà. Waħda minnhom hija l-addiction. Jekk l-addiction tirrifletti fuq droga. Ġifieri għalhekk qed tinżel it-threshold tal-soċjetà.
Naħseb irridu nagħmlu episodju. Mhux qed ngħidilek, mhux qed ngħidlek bin-naked really. Naħseb nagħmlu episodju jekk din hijiex soċjetà marida, x'inti tagħmel dal-statement. U naħseb ikun tajjeb li nanalizzawha.
Waħda mill-affarijiet għax kont inħares lej ħaddieħor kif qed iġib ruħu, jien minix minn hawnhekk, żgur. Kont ngħid minix minn hawnhekk għax daw l-affarijiet li qegħdin jgħidu daw in-nies. L-affarijiet din jgħidu, l-affarijiet fuq qegħdin jitkellmu, possibbli m'hemm xejn iktar importanti milli ngħidu Għax dejjaqni dak, għax dejjaqni l-oħra, għax għandi jek, għax għandi l-oħra.
Mela, Matteo, grazzi. Closing statement tijak, Mat.
Jena inti bdejt bil-kelma soċjetà u jien ħafna drabi nibda nistaqsi min is-soċjetà dak ir-raġel u l-mara li qegħdin wara l-karozza dom iqumu diġà b'dannazzjoni fuqhom tieqaf twaqqaf xih biex jaqsam jibda jdoqlok il-ħorn u kważi jinżelek bil b'xi ħadida f'idu min is-soċjetà li qegħdin nitkellmu dwarha hija dik li għandha ġirja sfrenata akademika li tifel ta' 6 snin diġà rridu isir avukat u jibda jistudja low levels f'dik l-età min is-soċjetà tagħna. Dik li llum sirna nitkellmu fuq il-well-being jisu xi klixe kulħadd jitkellem fuq u dal-well-being u maħniex nanalizzaw il-work-life balance li kulħadd jgħid dal-work-life balance u mbagħad maqtul birsini barra jien minn ġurnata xogħol għad nilqas mort id-dar u rid imur insajjar issa u għandi ħin għalija nnifsi fejn hu l-work-life balance tiegħi. Allura rrid nibda nifhem jiena min jieħu s-sustanzi minn xiex qed jaħrab minn dis-soċjetà.
Fucking which contest, Ġan.
Jena, onestament il-highlight tal-lum kienu iż-żewġ esperjenzi li smajna minnant Miguel Nasib u Putu u fostom rajt nisoħrajn li hawnhekk naf li għaddew mill-istess sitwazzjonijiet fej smajna kif id-droga tista' vera twaslek fix-xifer. Dejjem jiġri hekk le. Però dawn li smajna llum huwa naqbrekiet l-istajr ta' suċċess, ġifieri llum ma smajniex kull min għadu fil-ħama, u kull min il-ġenituri li tilfu it-tfal tagħhom, jew il-ġenituri li għadhom bit-tfal tagħhom ma jafux fejn qegħdin, dawn ma smajnihomx illum. Ġifieri meta nitkellmu fuq id-droga, ejjew ma nifokawx biss fuq id-drittijiet tagħna, imma nifokaw ukoll fuq l-esperjenzi ta' persuni li minħabba dak il ħasbu li tajjeb għalihom spiċċaw vera f'sitwazzjoni kera.
PROFILI, special guest LUDWIG GALEA, with your host James Aaron ELLUL.
.mt
Il-profil tal-lum huwa LUDWIG GALEA. Il-profil huwa mill-Belt Valletta u twilet fis-26 ta' Novembru tal-1977. Iben Austin u Silvana bil-koppja jkollhom żewġ tuliet, il-profil u l-Abigail. Il-profil iżżewweġ lil Sara fis-7 ta' Ġunju 2014 u għandhom żewġ tuliet, il-Benjamin u l-Kristina. Gradwa bħala għalliem l-Università ta' Malta bil-profil matul iż-żmien biex wasal għal din il-professjoni dejjem baqa' isaħħaħ, però it-talenti mużikali u l-vuċi. Bosta esperjenzi li matul dan il-programm se nkunu qed inħarsu lejhom u niddiskutuhom. Il-profil għandu wkoll Associate Diploma fil-mużika teatrali mit-Trinity Guildhall. Wieħed mill-mumenti li jibqa' jispikka l-profil kien il-mument meta quddiem udjenza internazzjonali fl-2004 flimkien ma' Ġuli Zara u waslu l-kanzunetta On Again, Off Again.
On again, off again, let the rhythm of pain. We need to decide, find an end to these games. Such wonderful times, many legendary highs.
Il-vjaġġ ta' Ludwig ma waqafx hemm, huwa kompla jibni karriera versatili li tinkludi kunċerti, musicals u produzzjonijiet teatrali fejn jura mhux biss il-firxa fokali tiegħu imma wkoll il-preżenza artistika tiegħu. It-taħriġ mużikali u teatrali tiegħu dejjem kien pedament importanti u jagħtih il-kapaċità li jaqgħad it-teknika ma' interpretazzjoni li tmiss l-udjenza.
me. Il nome mio nessun saprà, no, no, sulla tua bocca lo dirò. Quando la luce
Insomma, illum mal-profil se nkunu qed nagħmlu diskussjoni mużikali fejn f'xi waqtiet, anki matul l-intervista, il-vuċi tal-profil se tkun qed tieħu x-xejra tal-ispettaklu. Bir-rakkont se nkunu qed nisimgħu il-mużika tgħix qudiemna u naraw kif titwilet l-emozzjoni minn kelma u nota u kif il-palku l-ħajja personali jingħaqdu f'vuċi waħda. Profili fl-imkien ma' Ludwig, il-profil li jgħix il-palk passjoni li wassal il-vuċi Maltija fuq xena internazzjonali u li sallum jibqa' jaqqat il-mużika mal-emozzjoni, il-professjoni mal-familja u l-artist mal-bniedem.
Wara dik is-servizz dwar il-profil innifsu Samija James Arnellu inqat Ludwig nsellimlek.
Thank you. Thank you.
Nilqak fostna kif għatlek ġifieri
Vera
intervista.
Vera pjaċir li għajat li. Għax fan kbir tal-programm.
Grazzi, napprezza ħafna. Ħammur ftit lura, mhux daqshekk lura, it-tfulija.
Tfulija.
Kif kienet, mhux ftit il-passi l-bot minn hawn, ġifieri.
Ekku. Lejna tfulija tiegħek kienet il-belt. Il-mandraċ, ġifieri jekk inti toħodha minn Hastings, hemm in-nisla twila, tibqa' nieżel Susa nofsa fejn kien hemm Radio Mass, faċċata ta' Radio Mass tara bib aħdar 147 li huwa l-bib tan-nanna hemmhekk jiena trabbejt. Trabbejt hemmhekk, Abbati Sant'Augustin, trabbejt ma' persona ġi għamel il-profil miegħek ukoll ma' Leslie.
Ma' Patri Leslie Gatt, mela
ma' Lejs. Aħna Lejs ngħidu aħna Lejs.
Immorru lura tek għax il-kolleġġ ġifieri.
Childhood Friends, kuġinuh Mark, Max Lucas, da kollu nafu xieġin tfal, Paul Borg kellu missieru kol fi xandir, tifel tal-professur Wayne, tifel ta' kienet Wayne David.
Kontu
konna grupp ħelu.
L-odeb ħazja
grupp ħelu ħafna. Għada, ġifiri konna morru ġifiri Abbatini, mbagħad konna nżlu ċentru, mbagħad ġifiri bdejna nitfarfru, sana tant konna morru nlabu koll ġifiri water polo, water polo mal-belt, isu sakemm kelli isu dawk is-16-17. Kienet fulija sabiħa, tgħidli għaliex Lud, għaliex aħna konna nagħdu pjaċir. Immorru per eżempju għan Gianni Lejs, nixtru ballun minn ibol, nasab qasadhom jeżistu tal-plastik bi 25 cents, jew jekk wipulin nixtru tal-lira.
Li kollha ġest tal-ġilda ġi
birli tal-plastik. Dawk kunu jirġu jew blu, jew ħomor, jew orange, jew niftakarhom. Ġifieri nilagħbu hekk. Mbagħad tiġi xi festa jkollna long weekend, allura kont nibqa' għand in-nanna, jekk tiġi mal-kbira, morraw il-vari, u mbagħad wara konna mmorru għall-pizza.
I'm gonna show you part 1. ULIED IX-XEFAQ. In English, no idea.
Dawn huma l-Gżejjer Egadi. Jinsabu fuq in-naħa tal-punent ta' Sqallija. Il-Gżejjer prinċipali huma Favignana, Levanzo u Marettimo, b'total ta' 37.45 kilometru kwadru. Lura s-sena 241 qabel Kristu, dawn il-Gżejjer raw xeni demmija meta l-flotta Kartaġiniża tilfet il-battalja kontra dik Rumana, immexxija minn Lutatius Catulus, li ma battalja wkoll ġabet fit-tmiema l-ewwel gwerra Punika.
Kienet idea li kont illi noħlom ħafna fuqha, Arnold laqħa mill-ewwel għax dawn l-affarijiet inżlulu qasel.
U wasalna għal dal-proġett li dejjem kelli xewqa nagħmlu, però naħseb m'għandix il-kapaċità li nagħmlu waħdi għax minix daqshekk fil-linja televiżiva.
Jien inkun nixtieq nagħti li l-kull min qed isegwina pakkett sħiħ. Mela, bniedem jista' jeduka ruħu, jitgħallem u jitħaq.
Jien bniedem ma tantx nibża minn affarijiet, bniedem perikolus għax għandi dal-vizzju kraħ li jekk inkun nissuspetta li nibża minn xi ħaġa iktar niċċelenġjaħħa.
Qas nsejjaħlu ħabib għal jaqsu hija u dejjem nibża li ħajġrilu xi ħaġa. Ejwa jekk ma jikdmux hippo, kukkudrill, ideħ miksurin, u mbagħad għax murliti, u mbagħad dejjem se jiġrilu xi ħaġa. Allura jien dejjem inkwitata fuq dar-raġel illi kważi kważi isni għandi tifel ieħor.
Imma l-avventura li pjanajna kellna bżonn ftit iktar minn eżerċizzju fiżiku.
Momentum, tlaqna. Ejja, momentum. Ġamil li xerba kokroċċi id-dar. Daku.
Dan tal-aħmar huwa Jeffrey u Arnold, raġel bravissimu li jispeċjalizza fil-pjanti.
Hemm ċans niskopru dawk il-ħlejjaq li jinstabu f'dal-Gżejjer biss. Jina ħija ħobbu nsifru, niskopru dal-postijiet, speċjalment Gżejjer, iktar ma jkunu Gżejjer żgħar, iktar għax għalina, nxorbuhom daw literalment.
Din l-idea għas sempliċi raġuni li jiena dejjem irid indaħħal l-affarijiet li nħobb nagħmel fix-xogħol tiegħi. U Arnold dejjem irrakkuntali daqqa tela lemmu gidmu kukkudrillu, daqqa imbutta ħipow u qasamlu nofs parti ta' ġismu, insomma, u jirrakkuntalikom mhux jiena.
Mela, meta jgdimni xi ħaġa. Kien hemm ħafna l-ewwel qed jiena gostu sal-lok ħadd jaħtafni xi naqa'. Però b'ġis saqajn, b'sitt saqajn, b'4 saqajn li kulħadd ikun qed imisni xi naqa' jew xi daqqa ta' żewġ, jew xi gidma l-emmulaw, jew xi ksur. U kollhom esperjenzi interessanti, ġifieri, qatt ma għamilthom għat-tapposta mhix wieħed minn dawk li Morning għinem għat-tapposta, però għandi esperjenza biżżejjed li jekk xi ħadd jgħidli ma kif tħossa jekk tigdmek hornet jew jekk gidmek kukkudrill jew lajt daqqa ta' żewġ. Kollha blajthom.
Jiena ta' adrenalin junkie li jien interessajt ruħi, tkellimt miegħu fuq dan il-proġett u he got on board instantly. B'dan id-docu-series indaħlu ftit element ta' kultura tal-pajjiżi differenti. Naraw iż-żbuħija li d-dinja tagħna toffri u fl-istess ħin il-biodiversità, in-natura, kollox taħt docu-series wieħed.
ħarġ il-film Jurassic Park. Allura dik l-avventura li mort ksira u skopriet id-dinosaurs dik hija ċaġa li waħdet magħna u morna fett.
Kull ħaġa li taqsam mad-dinosawri.
For all type of video and audio transfers on DVDs or CDs, please contact Joe Borg on 0414 429 391. The Great Conclusive of Pope Benedict.
Some say Bergoglio's silent diplomacy may have actually saved lives, but not everyone is convinced. The grandmothers of Plaza de Mayo are among his critics. They are still searching for 400 children born in captivity.
Complicity is either by action or by omission. There were those who acted openly and straightforwardly in favor of the dictatorship, such as the bishop, and there are those who looked the other way and did nothing and did not help us, and that was by omission. They have responsibility, because up to this point, Monsignor Bergoglio has said nothing about the desaparecidos.
Monica Mignone never returned. The grandmothers of Plaza de Mayo, meanwhile, have successfully identified 108 grandchildren born in captivity who were placed in foster homes but have since been reintroduced to their biological families.
We estimate that around 30,000 people were kidnapped during the dictatorship, and among them 500 babies, of whom we have found 108. Now they are grown men and women.
108. Ya son hombres y mujeres ahora.
That period when the church would go to the slums, but on the other hand, would keep quiet on what was going on, was in a way sent to the archives, and nobody wanted to talk about that. Jorge Mario Bergoglio thinks that the church should be caring of the poor people.
That dedication to the poor is clear here in the very church where Monica Mignone used to work with Fathers Jalix and Giorgio. This is where her sister was married.
The typical inhabitant of this slum is the laborer, the worker, the woman who wants a better life for her children and has to leave them to work outside the home.
The barrio of Bajo Flores is on the southern outskirts of the city. These teenagers are traveling across the city to participate in a special mass for two young men about to enter the local seminary. The celebration is an expression of the fervent popular Catholic culture that thrives here. Many of the inhabitants of the slums are immigrants from neighboring countries, such as Bolivia. They bring with them their own traditions. By engaging with the poor of the slums, the Archbishop Jorge Bergoglio came to know intimately the realities of wider Latin America.
In the barrio on the other side, they hold the very popular feast of the Virgin of Copacabana, who is the patron saint of Bolivia. And here, there are many people who have immigrated from Bolivia. It's a festivity that attracts more than 30,000 people who come from the different areas of the city and Greater Buenos Aires to venerate the image of the Virgin and dance their native dances.
Jorge Bergoglio's opposition to liberation theology won him the favour of Pope John Paul II, who first made him Archbishop of Buenos Aires and then a cardinal.
He's very straightforward, very authentic, a man of great integrity, because he's been pastor when it's been difficult for the church. And so you have to kind of find your way in that. And this is a time of some difficulty for all of us, and so if he can help us find our way, that's one very great help. It will have a big impact on the church and help us all to govern.
Jorge Bergoglio's strong connection with the Jewish community in Argentina may contribute to peace in the Middle East, says Augustin Ulyanovsky, leader of the Jewish youth movement in Buenos Aires.
The
Pope can use his charisma and can use the relations he's developed with the Jewish community in Argentina to open a channel of dialogue, to bring an end to this conflict that is so harmful to everyone.
In the earliest hours of March the 19th, 2013, the popular enthusiasm for the first Argentine Pope swept away considerations of the past and the future. Crowds gathered in the Plaza de Mayo. In Rome, thousands massed in St. Peter's Square. The mood was festive. Jorge Bergoglio was about to become the Holy Father of the whole Roman Catholic world. It was the morning of March the 19th, 2013. Thousands were crowded into the Plaza de Mayo to watch the inauguration of the Argentinian Pope in Rome. Less than 3 weeks after his predecessor had resigned, the Roman Catholic Church had a new leader.
I think for non-Catholics or non-believers, there's a certain fascination in this 2,000-year-old institution, which in spite of all the troubles it's had through the centuries, still somehow not only survives, but continues to give that message of good news.
So we have a pope. And that's the most important thing. In our faith, you must have somebody. We've had good popes, bad popes, effective popes, ineffective popes, but you have to have a pope.
As bishop, Jorge Bergoglio was a great communicator, despite not using social media or even a computer.
He doesn't use internet. He doesn't have a laptop.
The producer said, "I'm impressed with Valletta and the story behind it." Final part.
Aha, seek and ye shall find. And this is what we're looking for, Victoria Gate. Yep, that's it. This is the first time I've made it down to the waterfront. And how lovely is this? I wanted to come down here to check out where the fast ferry terminal was. I found it. And this is where the fast ferry leaves to go to Gozo, and that's the plan tomorrow. So look out for that video as well. In the meantime, there are no fast ferries, there's these little boats. I suffer from a condition called tunnelophilia, a love of tunnels. And see that tunnel there? I need to walk through it just to do it. It needs to be done. However, there is a plaque up there. Can't quite read it because it's in Latin. I'm pretty sure this isn't the longest tunnel in Malta. There is a kind of a motorway, but I don't think we should go down that way. One thing about former British colonies, they always leave behind a great legacy of great buildings. It's very hard to see, but here's a beautiful ship from the Italian Navy. I'd better stop filming that, otherwise I'll be breaking the law.
Breaking the law, breaking the law.
It's amazing how good internet is when you've actually got access to it. That is the Italian frigate Carabinieri. Here down at the marina, there's loads of opportunities to spend your money. Maybe not this time of night, it is actually 6:45 at night, so everything is shut. But there's loads of stuff here. I wonder if this is where the cruise ships kind of pull up, and that's why there's so much tourist activity here during the day. Hello. Oh, I see you're one of these, are you? Oh, I see. Oh, honestly, oh yeah. I know, it's good, isn't it? Oh, yes. Oh, yes, it's really good. Okay, when you start hitting Hard Rock Cafe, you know you're in tourist heaven. Maybe it's time to head back. I can just see myself cruising the streets of Paisley in one of those. Maybe not. I think I'd lose my street cred very quickly. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this quite comprehensive visit to the city of Valletta. It's a beautiful city, it really is. I love those balconies. But watch out for the next video, because that will be a day trip to Gozo. I'll be leaving from the high-speed ferry here, and I'll be spending the day on the island of Gozo. Look out for that one. In the meantime, thanks very much for your support, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.
Malta by public transportation. If it's by bus or ferry.
Malta, a small Mediterranean island nation known for its rich history, stunning coastlines and ancient architecture. We arrived here by ferry and also departed here by ferry, and of course we travel around by public transportation as well. The bus and the ferry are the only ways of public transportation, because no trains at Malta, anymore at least. We'll show you all in this video, and also why the public transportation is the best way to get around. So join us on this video as we discover the country of Malta, including the islands of Gozo and Comino, by bus and ferry. For now, let's get this video on the road, because no trains here in Malta. And let's roll the intro. We arrived in Malta by train we took from the Netherlands, where we are from, to the south of Italy, to Pozzallo in the southern part of Sicily to be exactly. From there on we took a ferry to Malta. You would think that it's most obvious to start this trip report at the international ferry terminal of Malta. However, to be honest, the public transportation connections from and to there are quite disappointing. There will be another trip report where I tell you more. So what we do for this video, we take a bus from the airport of Malta to the main bus station of Valletta, what is the capital. From there on we take another bus to the other side of the main island, what's also called Malta, where you find the ferries to Gozo and to Comino. We take a ferry to Comino, discover that island quickly, and then we go back to the main island Malta and take a ferry to Gozo. From there on we take a fast ferry back to Malta, to Valletta to be exactly. The bus system within the country of Malta is really good, to be honest. There are lots of buses and quite a lot of the bus lines do operate all day long. And apart from that, you have special night buses as well. Malta is just very dense populated, and the government is doing everything to get people out of their cars, because if everybody would drive a car, there would even be more congestion on the already busy roads of Malta. So therefore, for example, the fast ferry between Gozo and Malta is also a good way to travel. We stayed during our trip here in Malta at the town of Sliema. This is close to the capital of Valletta, and between Sliema and Valletta you will also find a ferry. And even though this ferry might seem the best way to travel between these two, well, for Malta, their respective cities, this ferry was also really busy. So taking the bus wasn't that strange either between these two places. Malta is the 9th most dense populated country in the world. I have to add up to this, of the top 10 most dense populated countries in the world, there's only one real country, and that is Bangladesh. All the other countries are just island states or city-states, like for example Monaco, Singapore, Hong Kong and Gibraltar. But one thing I really noticed here, and I haven't had this experience in any other country, I felt it was too dense populated. And I have to add up to this. I am from the Netherlands, that's on number 26 of most dense populated countries. And my wife, she is from Taiwan, that's on number 17. And most people in Taiwan do live on one small portion of the country. I might hear some wise Dutch people saying, yeah, we have this too, but that's nothing compared to Taiwan. And both in the Netherlands and Taiwan, I never had the experience that I felt like a country is too busy or too dense populated. And the fact is, if you want to move a lot of people in one go, trains are just the best way. But you won't find trains in Malta, anymore at least. Even though you do find some really pretty parts of nature over here. Most of that is located at the coastline. Malta used to be very well known for these old classical buses you could find all over the island. But you will only find them for some touristic purposes here every now and then. I have to say, these buses are very smelly. And not so good for the environment. Anyway, even though we arrived in Malta by ferry, statistically, if you arrive here, you will take a plane and you will arrive at the airport. If you're curious about how it is to travel without flying, what is obviously much more sustainable, you can check out lots of videos on this YouTube channel. But I have to add up to this, from Malta, especially if this is your first time going on a non-fly holiday, it's not the cheapest and best way to travel to here without flying. The ferry between Malta and Sicily was actually quite expensive. However, it is a very fast service and also a really reliable ferry connection. However, for this video we will start at the airport of Malta, from where on you find many flights to lots of places and especially within Europe. From and to the airport, you find lots of airport direct buses. And these buses go to all destinations on the main island of Malta. In total there are 4 airport direct bus lines, and these buses are a bit bigger than the regular buses. Most buses on the island of Malta and Gozo are just kind of city buses. We quickly sneaked into the airport, and the airport itself, it's not very big. And the same thing for the bus station right in front of the airport. If you walk out of the airport, you are straight at the bus station. If you're planning to get around by taxi, what I can imagine as your first leg from the airport or the ferry terminal to the hotel or the other way around, I really recommend you to use the Bolt app. Don't use the official white taxis. Those taxi drivers, at least as we experienced it and also what we heard from other tourists, are very pushy and charge way too high prices. Even when we negotiated a good price, Bolt was still cheaper. Actually, I really like Bolt in general. Not only here in Malta, but many other European countries. Anyway, over here we are at the bus station at the airport. There are some vending machines for tickets as well, but you can also use a contactless payment card. And you can also buy multiple day tickets. This is actually what we did. I'm wondering if it's really worth it, but well, you can do that as well. Apart from the airport express buses, some more regional buses do call here as well. Both the airport express buses and also the line X300 that we'll be taking as the second bus along this video do have some dedicated luggage storage below the bus. It's not that much, to be honest. The buses do operate pretty frequent. Even though there's not much to show about the interior of the buses, I will show you the interior in a bit. But first, let's take this bus to the main bus station of Valletta, and while we do this, I'll show you some views from the bus along this route. Here, the bus is arriving at Valletta at the main bus station, close to where used to be the main railway station of Valletta. Well, before I show you around and obviously show you more of the public transportation in Malta, I hope you like this video so far. If you do so, or if it's a helpful video to you, please give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate that. If you'd like to see more trip reports about more sustainable ways of transportation, the main focus for this channel is long distance and or international traveling. Well, this is an exception when it comes to it because long distance is not possible here in Malta. But if you'd like to see more, for example, how we got here by ferry, then hit that subscribe button if you haven't done this already. For now, let's continue with this video. Valletta, what is the capital of Malta, doesn't have a lot of big streets. For the same reason, when it comes to public transportation within the capital of Malta, you will find some buses on the smaller streets everywhere. But the main bus station is located just outside of the historical city center, close to a spot where used to be the main railway station of Valletta. Well, I have to add up to this. The railway line that used to be in Malta is not very long and it only serves a small section of the main island. But this here used to be the bridge for the railway line, and the railway station was right here on the left underground. As you can see, as this picture shows, as a train is leaving the station. This small railway line only served for 48 years in Malta, between 1883 and 1931. And despite the fact that Malta has a good bus system now, I think it would make sense to have at least a kind of a tramway at some busy parts. Simply because a railway system can take much more passengers in one single go and is on the long term also more efficient. It's more sustainable, you need less staff, etc. Even a light rail can already make a difference. Anyway, let's focus on the bus station of Valletta, what is basically just outside of the old city center of Valletta. And this place is busy. They even have special traffic controllers at the spot itself to at least control the traffic here a little bit, because well, there's so many buses over here. It's crazy. And one thing is for sure, in Malta they definitely don't have enough people living here for all the jobs that are needed in, for example, tourism. So lots of people that work in Malta are not even from Malta itself. So the real population is much higher than it is on paper. If you walk out of the city center, close to the point where it used to be the railway station, towards the bus station, there is a big square where you find a fountain as well, and this is basically the beginning of the central bus station. Apart from buses, I also noticed a bike sharing program over here. I didn't only notice this here, but at some other spots in Malta as well. So you can get around by bike as well, although in the hot summer days I wouldn't prefer that. At the central bus station of Valletta, there are obviously some vending machines where you can buy bus tickets, but you find them at many bus stops in general. And here on the right, there is also a ticket and information point, what you might also find at other bigger bus stations. For the rest, things basically speak for themselves. The bus station has been divided into 3 different zones: A, B and C. For specific bus lines, you obviously find different bus stops, also mentioned as bays. For example, A10, A11, A12, A13, A14 and A15 here on the right. There has been generally marked what area to go to for what bus lines, and also at the beginning of the bays or the platforms, this has been clearly marked. Most buses that do serve this bus station are very regional buses. It's very difficult to have not regional buses in a country that is such a small country as Malta, but the kind of longer distance buses do depart from section B. And this is basically the Airport Express and line X300 that will go to the ferry terminal where you find the ferries to Gozo and Comino. Right here we are at section B, and opposite from the street over here you will find section C. Most buses do depart from section A at the Valletta bus station.
If you want to watch the Gday Maltaussies show, go to Facebook on Joe Borg, and then you can pick anyone you like. It's all there, because the website is down, and at this point in time, I can't do the new one for lots of reasons. But you can, or you can go to YouTube and put the day down or whatever the date you want of the Gday Maltaussies show.
Kwiet, mistħi u umli ħafna, iżda ta' 23 sena diġà rnexxielu jikseb masters fil-kompożizzjoni u jduq karriera fil-produzzjoni tal-mużika għal films f'Los Angeles, fejn ħadem ma' timijiet li produċew il-mużika għal films blockbusters fosthom Oppenheimer, Gladiator 2 u Odyssey li ħireġ din is-sena.
Meta kont żgħir ħafna, il-papa fissat fil-mużika, spiċċajt nitgħallem il-backpipe ta' 7. U spiċċajt mbagħad wara anke kitarra u pjano kif qed taraw hawnhekk, u mbagħad qlibt tal-kompożizzjoni tal-mużika, speċjalment tal-films.
Meta jdejh imissu man-noti tal-pjanu Craig bħal jintilef f'dinja għalih u minn subgħih joħorġu siltiet mill-isbaħ li jpaxxuk. Meta kien tifel xkejken kien idoqq ukoll il-kitarra. Illum f'kamra tas-salott li l-ġenituri tiegħu kkonvertewha bħala studju għalih, Craig jipproduċi mużika oriġinali għal films.
L-Amerika rnexxieli mur internship intażilt wara Berkeley u hemmhekk ukoll ħdimt fuq films, speċjalment mużika trailers.
Din is-sena, Craig qed jimmira li jmur għal kollox l-Istati Uniti biex jaħdem fil-produzzjoni tal-mużika għal films f'Los Angeles.
Palma gbira tiegħi li naħdem ma' composers kbar li minn meta kont żgħir ħafna nismagħhom. Kif ukoll jien irnexxieli nagħmel isem għalija, isem għal Malta li tantatni u fl-istess ħin nkun nista' ngħix ħajjak happy, ħajja sabiħa li minn dak li vera nħobb taf kif nagħmel living minn mużika.
Sunday, we're going to have bingo at the Hambrun Club, 100 Jackson Street, Marsden Park. We're going to have free muffins, coffee, or tea. And we have 15 games. And you win good prizes, which is money. So, all electronically, computerized. So when you come, enjoy playing the games, and you win some money. Who knows? See you at 3:30. I trust that you'll enjoy the show. And until we meet again next week, God bless. Gday Maltaussies show. For all type of video and audio transfers on DVDs or CDs, please contact Joe Borg on 0414 429 391.